We welcome you into Flowers Hall here in Florence, Alabama. The setting for tonight's in-state matchup between Jacksonville State men's basketball and their Yellowhammer State foe, the North Alabama Lions. I'm Logan Maddox, filling in for Mike Paris tonight on the Gamecock Sports Network. Should have a fun one on tap as the 1-2 Gamecocks look for their second win of the season, their first against a Division I opponent against the 2-1 North Alabama Lions. The 96th meeting all time between these two teams from the state of Alabama. Jacksonville State holding the series advantage 59-36. They split last year's meetings. Gamecocks lost in Jacksonville in December, then bounced back in a big way in February. Damari King shot the lights out here at Flowers Hall in a 92-83 victory for the Gamecocks. Red and white trying to get another victory, which would be their 60th win all time against the Lions up here in Northwest Alabama. Gamecocks coached by eighth-year head coach Ray Harper, looking for his 134th win as the head coach at Jack State. For the Lions, coached by Tony Pujol, his sixth year, he comes in 63-86, leading the Lions. Of course, Jack State was a conference opponent for UNA the last couple of seasons, but with the move to CUSA, no longer can that be said anymore for Jack State. However, UNA staying in the ASUN, looking for a solid year this year are the Lions. They've gotten off to a pretty good start. Couple of big wins to open the year. Blew out Blue Mountain, which you would expect on November 6th, and then rolled to a 16-point win at home against Alabama A&M 3 days later. They went on the road 4 days ago to Starkville. Came away 33-point losers, 81-54, as they took on the Mississippi State Bulldogs. But back at home for their third home game out of 4 in the month of November. For Jacksonville State and the Gamecocks, this is their second road test in a row after a tough loss a few days ago on the road at West Virginia. The Gamecocks opened their season with a 50-point dub at home against Brescia, then a tough overtime loss a few days later against Utah Tech. On November 14th, went up to Morgantown and lost 70-57. Fought well against the Mountaineers, just could not get the breaks they needed down the stretch, and fell by 13 against the Power 5 opponent, WVU. This time around, though, the Gamecocks taking on an ASUN opponent, a former conference foe in North Alabama, before they make the trip out to San Antonio next week. They'll take on Incarnate Word on the 22nd and UTSA on the 24th. This game, of course, is being broadcast on ESPN Plus if you want to watch along, but we thank you for tuning in here on the Gamecock Sports Network tonight on YouTube Live here from Florence, Alabama. Busy weekend for Jack State athletics. Before we talk more about this basketball game, how about the big win for Jack State football today? 56-17, a senior day dub against Louisiana Tech. Ran for the most yards that a CUSA team ever has today, 522 rushing yards for the Gamecocks in that big win in the final home game of the season for the Red and White. Jacksonville State women's basketball with their first win of the season last night, knocking off Alabama Huntsville by 14 points, 67-53. Big win for the Gamecocks as they try to keep it going. Back at it on Monday at home against Life University. Volleyball wrapped up their season yesterday as well in the CUSA tournament. Rifle in action this week, and ditto for bowling. Both the rifle and bowling teams with strong showings this week as well. And it leads us to the final matchup of the week for Jacksonville State athletics. It's the men's basketball game here at North Alabama. Gamecocks' probable starters will look like this. Of course, we'll have the official starters here in just a bit, but the likely starters for the Gamecocks, Quincy Clark, the junior from Columbus, Ohio, comes in with 13.7 points per game and knocking down 57% of his shots. He's expected to be followed by the senior forward, Juwan Purdue, out of Sumter, South Carolina. He's hitting a third of his attempts, 6 points per game and 5 rebounds per game for the 6'6" athlete. Marcellus Brigham Jr., the junior forward from Memphis, 9.7 points, 6.7 rebounds per game so far in the year. The 6'7" forward from the Volunteer State. And then, of course, the 6'10" center, the redshirt sophomore, Mason Nicholson out of Gary, Indiana, averaging close to 3 points and 3 rebounds per game, hitting 40% of his shots. And the do-it-all guard, Kiki Tandy, the graduate from Hopkinsville, Kentucky, the transfer from Xavier, 16.7 points per game in his first 3 contests as a Gamecock, shooting 42.2% from the field. This Jacksonville State-North Alabama rivalry going back nearly 75 years. It's the second most played series for both of these teams. Mentioned just a minute ago how they split the 2 showdowns last year. Jack State won in Florence in their season finale back on February 24th. The final conference meeting against the Lions at the end of February. Of course, ties with these 2 teams, as you would expect, with only about 3 hours separating the 2 campuses. North Alabama's Drake James, he's the son of Shane James, who lettered on Jack State's team in 96 and 97. That immediately followed the Gamecocks' move to Division I. So he did not play against the Division II Lions, but rather his son playing for the Lions, now a Division I program. Jacksonville State has played several games on November 18th, and we're here in November 18th, 2023. Gamecocks just 2 of 7 on this date, trying to turn around their fortunes on this day. Historically, those 2 wins came at home against Montana State Billings back in '94. That was a neutral site game in Phoenix, Arizona, and a home game against West Alabama 15 years ago. It was a 69-48 win against the Tigers. Jack State's lost their last 3 games on this date, including a loss at Alabama in Tuscaloosa last year, that 104-62 setback in T-Town. Also lost on the road at TCU in 2016, and a heartbreaker at Virginia Tech in 2015. We're going to do this. We're going to step aside for just a few minutes here on the Gamecock Sports Network. We're still about 5 minutes away from the announcement of the starting lineups, so we'll break away from you for about 5 minutes. We'll come back in just a bit with those lineups and the start of the contest. Jacksonville State men's basketball on the road at North Alabama. Stay with us here on the Gamecock Sports Network. And we're back with you live from Florence, Alabama on this Saturday night on the Gamecock Sports Network. Jacksonville State men's basketball taking on North Alabama here at Flowers Hall. Logan Maddox with you, filling in for Mike Paris, who had football duties earlier today. Worked out for him and the football squad. They got a 56-17 win on Senior Day, and let's see if the men's basketball team can do the same thing tonight here on the road at UNA, as we're about to have the announcement of the starting lineups here at Flowers Hall. This is not the only CUSA contest going on today. 3 other showdowns in conference play. One gone final already. That was Middle Tennessee blowing out Milligan earlier today in Murfreesboro, 88-62. 2 games will be played this evening. One currently in action about halfway through the first period. It's Western Kentucky 36 and Kentucky State 25. And then a little bit later on, about 30 minutes from now, Northern Colorado at New Mexico State in the Cancun Challenge. About to have a special presentation before the start of the game. While that happens, give you the rundown of why we're running just a little bit late on the Gamecock Sports Network tonight. Had a doubleheader today at Flowers Hall. The women's basketball team for North Alabama lost in blowout fashion to Southern Miss, and that game ran a little long, so we're just a few minutes behind schedule, but no big deal. So we're just about set to get underway here in Colbert County.
And now let's greet tonight's starters. First, for the Gamecocks.
And the starters up first for Jacksonville State. As you would expect, it's Quincy Clark. He's gotten off to a good start this season, 13.7 points per game. Juwan Purdue will follow. Senior for the Gamecocks out of Sumter, South Carolina, 6 points, 5 rebounds per game. Marcellus Brigham Jr., the 6'7" forward, is next up, averaging close to 10 points per game in the first 3 contests. Matt Mayers is after him, so no Mason Nicholson in the starting lineup today. Instead, it'll be Mayers. Mayers, 6'8" senior from Westchester, New York, the transfer from Robert Morris. And then finally, Kiki Tandy, 16.7 points per game so far. And looking for more of the same from him this evening at a raucous Flowers Hall here in Florence. And the hype video being played here in the home of the Lions. Nice crowd on hand for this one, which is what you'd expect for a doubleheader. One of the first, if not the first, of the season for UNA. This is a team that has found a way to win twice already this year, but now they're trying to bounce back, are the Lions, after that tough loss to Mississippi State earlier in the week. Lost 81-54 in Starkville. They did pick up wins against Blue Mountain and Alabama A&M prior to that. As for Jacksonville State, they won the season opener by 50 points against Brescia, then lost in overtime against Utah Tech, and are coming off of a loss at West Virginia, 70-57, the final score earlier this week in Morgantown. Starting lineups will go like this for the Lions. And as you heard the PA announcer say, Will Susi is up first. Comes in with 6 points, 2.5 rebounds, and 2 assists per game this year.
Number 3,
KJ Johnson is after him. He's an 1,000-point scorer in his career, 14 points per game so far for Johnson. Transfer from Lipscomb.
Number 5, Jakari Lane.
The home state kid out of Huntsville, Jakari Lane, is after him. He scored 8.7 points per game in his first 3 showings this year.
Number 23, Tim Smith Jr.
Tim Smith Jr. And follow, he's a 6'7" forward from Cleveland, Ohio, transfer from D2 Walsh University.
Number 33, Damian.
And the final starter for UNA is Damian Forrest, standing 6'9". He's a senior forward from Fort Collins, Colorado. Jacksonville State, of course, coached by 8th-year head coach Ray Harper. The rest of the staff for the Gamecocks, including Tommy Wade, Denon Morrow, and Marcus Belcher, they're all assistants. Graduate managers Pat Edwards and Jordan Wilson in the program as well. For UNA, they are coached by Tony Pujol in his 6th season. He's helped out by associate head coach Ahmad Smith and assistants Carter Heston and Austin Burnett. Jacksonville State wearing their road black unis. It's got Jack State on the front in one line with white letters and red trim around those white letters. As for North Alabama, they are wearing their home white uniforms. It's got the UNA Lion logo on the chest and purple stripes down the side. Some sort of confusion here. Ray Harper and part of the staff is coming out. Jack State was ready to come out and jump for the opening tip, but UNA has got a huddle on the floor. Now Coach Harper and Coach Pujol converging. They're not sure what's going on. Both seem to be pretty confused now. And now I believe the Dobo for UNA comes out to straighten some things out. We were set to go, at least we thought. Still ironing out the details here at Flowers Hall. Some sort of miscommunication here. Now the officials heading to the scorer's table on the far side of the gym. Still trying to straighten out whatever's gone on here in pregame. UNA is in their huddle still. Coach Pujol has come out to half court and a handshake between he and Coach Harper, so trust that everything will get worked out here. A couple of staffs that have a lot of respect for each other and a lot of familiarity between themselves. And it looks like Jack State will open the game. They're going to practice some shots while we're still evidently in this timeout period. So we thank you for joining us here on the Gamecock Sports Network. We're here at C&S Bank Arena, Flowers Hall, here in Florence, Alabama. Nice night for basketball. We thank you for tuning in with us. Looks like we're still warming up. So again, we'll break away for just a bit. We'll come back a little bit closer to the start of the matchup here in Florence. Stay with us. Gamecock Sports Network, men's basketball against North Alabama. And after that short intermission, I think we're good to go now finally. Can't say that I've seen that before. The situation where one team was out there ready for the tip and then the other was out on the floor in their huddle with chairs on the floor. I think they were waiting for the ESPN Plus broadcast to start and for us to officially reach 7:32 p.m. So now we're good to go. The opening tip is won by Jacksonville State. Matt Mayers got it, just able to reach his arm out past Damian Forrest, the 6'9" forward who was jumping for UNA. Gamecocks with possession to start. They give it to Mayers, top of the key, goes down low for Purdue. Jumper off the backboard is in there. Jawan Purdue with the first points of this one for Jacksonville State. It takes all of 15 seconds, and the Gamecocks strike first. Chance to see this North Alabama offense exploded for 93 points in a season-opening win against Blue Mountain, but that three-pointer is off the mark. Up and it rims out from Tim Smith Jr., the graduate from Cleveland, Ohio, was a Division II star before transferring to UNA. Gamecocks rocket one down low to Mayers, and his shot off the backboard no good. Rebounded by UNA. They give it in a lane in the middle. The Huntsville kid can't hit it, and it's yanked down by the tall Mayers. Mayers getting the start in place of Mason Nicholson. Not quite as tall as Mason, but showing some good things, battling down low in the post. They go his way, and it's ripped away. Stolen by Jakari Lane. Back to the Lions. In transition, they'll take it to the baseline. It's KJ Johnson with it. Step for step on him is Quincy Clark. Smith on the left wing with it. Passes to Susie, and it's tipped out of bounds. Stays with the UNA. Juwan Purdue got a hand on that one. Trying to get it to Will Susie, junior from Califon, New Jersey. Susie passes it in, gets a pass back from Forrest, driving the right side of the lane. The floater falls off the rim. Couldn't get the friendly roll that time. The Gamecocks get the ball back. 18.5 to play in the first. 2-0 Jacksonville State. Clark all the way around the horn, right corner to Kiki Tandy. First time he's touched the ball today. Drives to the elbow, stops, and passes away. 12 on the shot clock. Quincy Clark driving around Forrest. Help is there down low. He gives it off to Mayers, who's wide open for the slam. And Jacksonville State with a 2-possession lead, 4-0. That time they showed a lot of respect for Quincy Clark as he drove down low. The man on Mayers went with him, and it led to a wide open basket. On the other end, Mayers with a rebound. He's had a really productive start so far. Kiki Tandy has it stripped as the Gamecocks were taking it down the floor. UNA had numbers momentarily, but Jakari Lane lost the ball out of bounds. Went to leap in the lane that time. Looked like he was going to pass it out at the last moment, but just lost the ball. So another turnover against the Lions, and Jacksonville State will have it. Up 4-0 and 7:41 to go in the first half. Head coach Ray Harper excited about the potential of this team. You're early in the season, still working some kinks out, and especially with a squad with so many newcomers, still learning to play with one another, learning his system and whatnot. But they've shown some spurts of greatness this season, wanting to see that continue tonight. Clark gives off to Purdue, shot inside, no good. Rebounded by Mayers down low, and it's a jump ball. Possession goes to North Alabama. Had an open look on that shot, did Purdue, couldn't finish it. Mayers got the rebound, but immediately was tied up with Damian Forrest of North Alabama. Nothing's going to be easy in this game. It never is playing this team. Always a scrappy squad and very talented. As Tim Smith Jr. goes down low, he's stuck. Passes off to Forrest around two defenders. Maybe got a bit of an elbow into the side of Mayers to get separation, and he makes the shot underneath the basket. First points of the day for the Lions, makes it 4-2 with under 17 to play. Quincy Clark hangs on to it for Jacksonville State, the junior from Columbus, Ohio. Down low now to Juwan Purdue. Purdue in the corner of the floor. At the baseline, tries a shot over Johnson. No good, rebounded by Mayers and knocked out by UNA. Jakari Lane, the sophomore from Lee High School in Huntsville, got a hand on it, poked it out. Good defense by him. Good student section tonight for North Alabama, sitting right behind the UNA bench. Making a lot of noise as Jacksonville State is trying to score on that side. Kiki Tandy just to the right of the key. Flares one left side for Clark. Quincy with 10 on the shot clock, over to Juwan. And now to Kiki again. 5 on the clock. Kiki at the wing, tries a three. It's in and out and pulled down by Will Susie. Lions with it, races down the floor, gives it off to Johnson, and he'll make an acrobatic attempt at a layup, and it'll fall. Johnson caught some contact in midair, able to finish it. Banks it in off the backboard. It's 4-4. 4-0 run to start for Jacksonville State. Now 4 points in a row, a couple of made baskets by UNA, and a stoppage of play, a foul on the Lions defensively. A push against Tim Smith Jr. That's the first foul of this game, and it takes us to our first media timeout. 15 minutes, 58 seconds to go in the first half. 4-all in Florence. Jacksonville State led for 3.5 minutes early in this first period. But North Alabama has battled back with a couple of baskets, one by Damian Forrest, one by KJ Johnson to tie it. And it's 4-all as we come back from the under-16 media timeout here on the Gamecocks Sports Network. Live with you from CB&S Bank Arena at Flowers Hall in Florence on the campus of the University of North Alabama. Nice venue to take in some Saturday night basketball. Wishing we were at Pete Matthews Coliseum, but if we couldn't be there, glad to be here, just about 3 hours away from home. Inbounds pass to Quincy Clark. He'll take it to the right wing, gives off to Kiki Tandy, who drives to the baseline. Jumper off the rim. A fight for the rebound. It's still on the floor, and it rolls out of bounds off of North Alabama. They'll say that Josiah Fulcher, the junior for the Lions, had it escape out of bounds off his foot. Gamecocks stay with possession and 20 on the shot clock. Inbounds pass to Kiki Tandy in the corner. Over to an open Juwan Purdue, and too short on the three ball. Rebounded by North Alabama. Goes to Fulcher. He'll race it down the court. And now passes back near the timeline to KJ Johnson. KJ gives off. This is Damian Forrest working around and making it go in. That time, it wasn't bad defense necessarily by the Gamecocks. Checking in for Jack State, number 23, Andre Burney. But he just got around him, made the shot, and it's a 6-0 run for North Alabama. Quincy Clark on the left side, top of the key, three. Too much on it. Jacksonville State not able to hit it from beyond the perimeter. They get the offensive board out to Kiki, and his won't go either. Out of bounds off of Jacksonville State. North Alabama will have it. First three that time was attempted by Caleb Johnson for Jack State, the transfer from Vincennes, Indiana. Second time around, Kiki couldn't hit it after a big offensive board by Burney. Couple of subs here for the Lions, and I think Jacksonville State's going to keep the same ones that they had brought in after that media timeout. 14:47 to go in the first half, and now Kiki Tandy will check out. Coming in his place is Ivan Reynolds, transfer from UC Bakersfield for the Gamecocks. Goes to Reynolds, beyond the perimeter. Goes to his right, passes back to the left. This is Quincy Clark jumping in the lane. He spins, tries a jumper, and he buries it. Good move by Quincy Clark, creating space when it seems like there's none there. The former Lipscomb Bison ties it at 6. KJ Johnson, one of his former teammates, has it just past half court at the A of that North Alabama logo. Trying to push off against Quincy Clark. He'll back it up at the elbow. Gives down low to Damian Forrest, and he is fouled, putting up the shot. He'll head to the line for two. Forrest upset with himself. He just missed a chance for an and one as that one rolled off the back of the iron. He'll have his chance to earn the lead for his squad at the free throw line. Damian Forrest, 6'9" senior forward, transfer from Cleveland State Community College. After his time in the Volunteer State, earned a scholarship here in Florence and has had a productive season to this point. Has had 10 or more rebounds twice this season. So far for Forrest tonight, just one rebound and just one made free throw. Missed the first, makes the second, and it's a 1-point lead for the Lions, 7-6, with 14-10 and ticking here in half number one. Quincy Clark guarded by Lane this time, and he throws it away. Picked off by Fulcher. A 3-on-2 for UNA, and Fulcher misses his shot. Rebound taken in the air by Jack State. Down to Reynolds, tries for the oop, and it's out of bounds. Alley-oop into an oops. It was rebounded by Andres Burney, the junior from Eastern Florida State. He tossed it down to Ivan Reynolds, who tried to find Burney on an alley-oop, but miscommunication, and Burney wasn't ready for it. Under 14 to play, and the Gamecocks with another substitution. The freshman guard from Piedmont, Alex Odom, checks in. First time seeing him tonight. Lions pass it in to Jakari Lane, driving the near side. Gets it up past half court Step for step with him is Ivan Reynolds. A lot of motion in this UNA offense. Still plenty of time on the shot clock as Fulcher passes back to Lane on the left wing. 10 on the shot clock. Lane over to Foster, passes tipped and intercepted. Reynolds got a hand on it. Coming away with it for the Gamecocks was Marcellus Brigham Jr. Down low to Reynolds, and he's fouled before a shot. Was driving the baseline and got bumped into. That foul against North Alabama, the second team foul. Did not catch who it was on, and it looks like it'll be on Clark. Micah Clark, sophomore, 6'7" guard. Gamecocks pass it in to Brigham. Marcellus with a screen. He goes to the left. Back outside. Now down low and a lot of contact. We're looking for Andres Burney. But again, Micah Clark is going to get tagged with a foul, and quickly he has to check out. Tony Pujol very disappointed in the second-year guard. He'll come out after getting into some quick foul trouble. 2 on him in virtually no time. And then an offensive foul as Jacksonville State was trying to get some room. They'll call that one a moving screen on number 0, Johnson. Caleb Johnson, the junior out of Nova Scotia, checks out. Kiki Tandy comes back in. Replay they showed in the arena didn't really show much of the obstruction. It was away from the play, and admittedly, I did not see it. But the officials did. That's all that mattered. North Alabama up a point. They've got the ball back. 13 to go in the half. An errant pass recovered in the corner by Jakari Lane. He'll duck inside. Jumper from the free throw line. No good. Contact on the rebound, but it's recovered by Brigham. Ahead to Reynolds. Around Susie. He'll take it to the left corner where he'll set up shop. Passes to Kiki Tandy. Tandy down the center. Layup. Too short. Good defense by the Lions. Owen Nelson, the 6'11" center, might have got a hand on that ball. Nelson passes to Foster. Double clutch layup goes in. A 3-point advantage for the Lions. It's 9-6. Their biggest lead to this point. They're shooting 4 of 10 from the field. Jack State just 3 of 12. And Odom spins away from the defender at half court. He gives to Brigham. Marcellus Brigham has to pass it away, gives it off to Kiki Tandy. Back to Marcellus on the wing. Inside. Working around the big center, the layup up, and the layup no good from Burney. And then a travel on the Lions as they get the board. And that extra step will take us to the next media timeout. Jack State outscored that time around 5-2, and it's 9-6 as we head to another timeout. 11:55 to go in the first half here on the Gamecock Sports Network. Stay with us. Both of these sides, as we come back from that media timeout, looking to get something going from beyond the circle, down low. Of the 15 points combined, 14 of those coming from the paint. So every basket being made in the paint to this point, as Jacksonville State trails 9-6 with 11:55 to go in the first half. Gamecocks pass it into Kiki Tandy, who lost his footing, and it's tipped out of bounds. It's North Alabama ball. They'll get it right back up 3 points as Susie gives in to Ja'Cory Lane. Walks it up past half court. Gives to Foster, top of the key. A screen is set. Foster lobs it to the right side, now down low to Owen Nelson. The Wyoming transfer spins around, tries a hook shot, and it's in and out. Rebounded by Jacksonville State. Bernie with the rebound, passes to Alex Odom, former Piedmont Bulldog, goes to the elbow, passes beyond the arc to Marcellus Brigham on the right wing. 15 on the shot clock. Screen from Bernie. Kiki Tandy to Odom on the right side. Back to Kiki. Fakes a shot. Now over to Reynolds. His three rings in and out. And rebounded by Foster. They've got numbers 2-on-1 to Owen Nelson. And he lays it in off the backboard. And immediately timeout is taken by Jacksonville State. Gamecocks have not scored in 3.5 minutes. They are 1 for their last 11 from the field. And Coach Ray Harper wants to talk it over with his group. It's 11-6, 11 minutes to go in the first half. Here on YouTube Live, the Gamecocks Sports Network. Gamecock basketball out of the timeout. Jacksonville State down 5, 11-6. Just under 11 minutes to go in the first half as they give it in to Quincy Clark. He'll walk it up the court. Go left side. Now over to Kiki Tandy, a three, and he airballs it. It's saved from going out of bounds by Fulcher for North Alabama. Rockets one down the floor to a wide open man. Owen Nelson lost it, gets it back outside the lane. And he airballs a three out of bounds. So the airballing threes gives and it takes for both sides so far in this one. 10:33 to go in the first interval. Jacksonville State down 5 points. They will have the ball back. Quincy Clark bounces one over. Bernie with it. Then hands it off to number 0, Caleb Johnson. It's tipped out of bounds by Marco Foster for North Alabama. Jack State led early 4-0, but since then made just one shot. Passer this time around for Jack State's Ivan Reynolds. He'll give it in to number 1, Quincy Clark, top of the key. Got a screen from Bernie, went the other way. Clark spinning away from the defense. Had it tipped out at the free throw line. He gets it back over to Marcellus Brigham. 2 on the shot clock. Quincy with a long 2, and it's a shot clock violation. The defender got a touch of the ball, and it got nowhere close to the rim. With 10 minutes to go in the first half, it's 11-6. Lane walks it up the court for North Alabama. And his man stumbled over and lost it out of bounds. Don't see that very often at this level of basketball. Damian Forrest was open at the baseline, but I think he might have tripped over his own feet. Loses it on the opposite side of that purple stripe. Jacksonville State takes back over. Marcellus Brigham, left side of the floor. Goes back to the right. This is Juwan Purdue. Quincy Clark with it at the free throw line, looking for something. to serve as a catalyst for this offense that scored just 6 points in the first half of this first period. And a travel before a made shot. Went down low to Jawan Purdue. He would have made the shot and probably would have been a foul, but took the extra step. And Purdue said, okay, you got me. We look back at it, Jawan absolutely took that extra step. Now the question is whether or not the contact from Damian Forrest caused that travel, but the officials will say no, sir. KJ Johnson gives over to Tim Smith Jr., now down in the paint to Damian Forrest. This big North Alabama squad has lived in the paint, and they'll get a foul in the paint. That one issued against Jawan Purdue, and now Ray Harper pleading his case with the head official. Third team foul against Jacksonville State, that foul on the floor. So no free throws here. The passer just to the right of the basket will be KJ Johnson. Lewisburg, Tennessee native, gives it in to Damian Forrest, who had it tipped out. That was solid defense by Marcellus Brigham. He let him receive the inbounds pass but go nowhere with it. So one thing so far, the defenses have done their job. Jack State 3 of 16 from the field, UNA 5 of 13 from the field, 12 combined turnovers. Johnson at the last moment tosses it in overhead to Damian Forrest on the right wing. He'll hand it back off to KJ. Going against Quincy Clark at the free throw line. Passes left corner, 10 on the shot clock. Back to Johnson, a 3 off the iron. Picked up by Jawan Purdue in transition to Quincy Clark. Layup is no good. In and out again. Can't buy a basket right now. North Alabama back with it. Will Susi can't get the fine touch on that floater, but an offensive board for UNA. Forrest posting up, and a lot of contacts and a travel. Damian Forrest looked like he was getting ready to suit up against Florida State with the rest of the North Alabama football team tonight. Was not worried about mixing in a dribble that time, was just worried about putting his shoulder down. Jacksonville State will take back over as Ivan Reynolds comes out. Looks like Jack State will bring in instead number 3, Travis Roberts, sophomore from Waldorf, Maryland. Go down low, quick pass to Caleb Johnson. Spins around the defender and misses the layup. It falls short again. 8:15 to play here in the first half. A 5-point lead for North Alabama. KJ Johnson tries a layup. It's off the rim. Was trying to sell for contact that time, working against Quincy Clark. Did not get the call. Clark has it for Jack State as we reach the 8-minute mark. To Roberts, top of the key, now left side Brigham. Bounces toward the corner. This is Jawan Purdue. Over to a cutting Caleb Johnson. 10 on the shot clock. Down low, a good pass to Jawan Purdue around 2 defenders, and he's fouled. And when we come back from this media timeout, it'll be 2 free throws for Jawan Purdue. It'll be the first trip to the line tonight for Jacksonville State as they trail it 11-6. 7:45 to go here in the first half in Florence. Stay with us on the Gamecock Sports Network. Jacksonville State trails North Alabama 11-6 with 7 minutes and 45 seconds to play in half number 1 here at CB&S Bank Arena at Flowers Hall. 2 free throws coming up for Juwan Purdue, and the first freebie has too much on it. It's off the back of the rim. Juwan Purdue with one of the made buckets so far for Jacksonville State. He's 1 of 4 from the field. Had a layup earlier in this game. Juwan, the senior from Sumter, South Carolina, played at Lakewood High School in the Palmetto State. And he hits the second one to make it 11-7. So back down to a 4-point game for the Gamecocks. North Alabama bringing in some more new faces, including Cannon Jefferson, who passes to KJ Johnson. He's trapped at midcourt, gives off to Will Susi, now to Fulcher. Everybody touching the ball this possession. Give it back to number 4, Cannon Jefferson, freshman from New Orleans. He'll drive inside, has some room, and probably missed a foul against the Gamecocks defense. We won't argue about it. Layup was missed. Over to Travis Roberts in transition. Layoff on the backboard, no good. And a foul on Jack State going for the rebound. A couple of Gamecocks converged, and right in the middle of them was Will Susi. That foul, a push on Travis Roberts, and TR will come off. Excuse me, he will stay in. Juwan Purdue, I think he caught an elbow to the back of the head. He'll check out. Back in is Caleb Johnson. 4-point difference with 7 minutes and 7 seconds remaining here in half number 1. KJ Jefferson lobs one left side. This is Jefferson, the freshman. Johnson gets it back. Johnson down low, layup good. Makes it look so easy. KJ Johnson drives to the bucket. He's done that his whole college career. He does it once more, and it's the biggest lead so far, 13-7 UNA. Mason Nicholson in for the first time. Hands it off on the right wing to Quincy Clark. Spins against Johnson, goes back to the right. They wipe it off, he traveled. Another turnover by this Jacksonville State offense. That is turnover number 9 by the Gamecocks. They're winning the rebounding battle, but too many turnovers, not enough made field goals. Jack State down 6, watching the Lions get the ball right back. Will Susi will toss it in. It goes into the freshman Jefferson. Cannon Jefferson, 6'2", 170 from Newman High School in NOLA. KJ Johnson drives left side around Nicholson. Layup no good off the backboard. Picked up by Marcellus Brigham. Ahead to KJ Tandy. Now to Nicholson, the two-handed slam. Mason, the senior from Gary, Indiana, with a big two-handed finish, 13-9. Some more points in the paint for Jack State. Finally ends that scoreless streak, at least as far as field goals go. And then right back to it go the Lions. Josiah Fulcher with a basket, 15-9. Mason Nicholson trying again and succeeding again. Lays it in off the backboard, 15-11. Both offenses upping the tempo here, working out so far as Fulcher launches a 3. And it's off the mark. Falls to Marcellus Brigham. Gives to Kiki Tandy, who walks it down the left side. Kiki down low to Mason Nicholson, posting up, driving inside, and a jump ball will keep it with Jacksonville State. Leapt in the air, tried to put up a shot, but the defender had both hands on it. That was Will Susi who forced the jump ball. Damian Forrest, a little frustrated after the play, was hoping that that would be a travel or a clear block, but instead the jump ball keeps it with the red and white. Reynolds, the passer, at the baseline. And a foul on the inbounds pass against North Alabama's Jakari Lane. For Lane, that is his first personal. That is team foul number 5 on North Alabama. As Ray Harper shouts in the play here. Reynolds gives it in to Tandy. Working against Jakari Lane. He'll get a screen for Matt Mayers. Passes to Mayers, tipped and stolen. Damian Forrest comes away with the ball. Another turnover by the Gamecocks. Lane to Fulcher, left side to KJ Johnson. There was a crease, but it closed quickly within that Gamecock defense, and he threw it to me. It goes out of bounds. Tried to pass it to a teammate, but Will Susie was going the opposite direction, ran the wrong route. And Jacksonville State will have it as it rolls out of bounds. Jawan Purdue will throw it in for the Gamecocks here, who trail 15-11. 4:59 to go in the first half. Jawan gives it into Kiki Tandy. Step for step with him is Jakari Lane. He's played tight defense tonight. Impressed by him, and Kiki is bumped into, taking it near the lane. That goes against Damian Forrest. There's the 6th foul on North Alabama, so the next one will result in some free throws for Jack State. And they'll call that a shooting foul, so this one will result in free throws. Kiki Tandy at the line for Jack State. Never mind, they changed their mind at the last moment. I didn't think that it was a shooting foul initially. Reynolds to throw it in, gives in the corner to Kiki Tandy. He'll spin. Kiki, spin around jumper, good. Pretty looking shot from Kiki Tandy to make it a one-possession game, 15-13. Lions looking for a response here as Jacksonville State is trying to battle back. They'll throw it to Susie on the left wing. Susie drives inside, layup falls short. Scooped up by Ivan Reynolds, pressing the pedal to the metal. Down to Travis Roberts, layup's good. Roberts beat his man and he ties this game. Jack State has made their last 4 shots, and they come all the way back to tie it at 15. Timeout is taken by North Alabama. 4 minutes and 15 seconds to go in the first half. A 6-0 run for the Gamecocks, and we'll take it with them. A full timeout in Florence. It's 15-15. Stay with us. After opening 3 of 19 from the field, Jacksonville State hits 4 in a row. They go on a 6-0 scoring run, and they tie it at 15 here with 4 minutes and 15 seconds to go until halftime. Live from Flowers Hall, CB&S Bank Arena in Northwest Alabama. Gamecocks trying to get back to 500 on the year. North Alabama, on the other hand, trying to get back to their winning ways after a loss earlier in the week. They are 2-1 on the year. And the Lions will throw it in out of the timeout. It goes to Jakari Lane near midcourt. Lane hangs on to it. Gives it off to Will Susie, now left side back to Jakari, the speedster of a guard. Goes left side to Foster. Marco Foster to Susie, passing around, looking for an opening against this man-to-man defense, and he lost it. Goes over to Travis Roberts, one-on-one, layup no good, but he's fouled. That one will be issued against Josiah Fulcher. And now Jack State in the bonus for the final 3 minutes and 49 seconds. Travis Roberts coming away with that steal after it was poked by a teammate. Jacksonville State chance to take the lead back, and they do. First lead for Jacksonville State since it was 4-2. That was 14 minutes ago. 16-15 your score now. And the second free throw from Roberts, sophomore from Waldorf, Maryland. He's got both of them. And now it's an 8-0 scoring run over the last couple minutes for Jack State. Of course, the Gamecocks picked last in Conference USA coming into the season. That's something that they've had in their mind. You know, they've had to have been thinking about that throughout preseason, early in a non-conference play. Looking to get a win, get the team chemistry even tighter here on the road at North Alabama, and a tough place to play. Get them ready for some CUSA matchups. Lions give off to Jakari Lane, and he's fouled, putting up a shot. 2 freebies coming up for him. That is against Jawan Purdue, his second personal foul. And Purdue, we'll see if he checks out. Looks like Marcellus Brigham will come in. 2 free throws for Jakari Lane. That is team foul number 5 against the Gamecocks here in the first half. First one from the charity stripe is up and good from Lane to make it 17-16. And Purdue does take a seat for Brigham. Second free throw from Lane. Lane, the 6-foot sophomore guard, got both of them. And we are tied up once again, 17-17. Lions pressing on the inbounds. Ivan Reynolds walks it up past midcourt. On top of him is Marco Foster defensively. Getting a screen from Matt Mayers. He runs the opposite way. Passes to Travis Roberts. Inside the lane, tipped and almost stolen. Jumping the route that time was Marco Foster. Heady play by him, just a hair late from having a steal and a score on the opposite end. Kiki Tandy gets the inbounds pass, drives down low, layup no good. A lot of contact. KJ Johnson breaks away, his layup's in there. They got the rebound, they threw it down to KJ, and he beat the defense to make it 19-17. Under 3 to play here in the first half. Jack State down 2. Kiki Tandy guarded by Lane near midcourt. The screen from Mayers. Looks back to his left. Gives down low. Reynolds goes for the slam, and he missed it. Couldn't finish it. It hits off the rim. Back to UNA. Over to Marco Foster. Open 3 off the back of the rim. Rebounded by Kiki Tandy. 2:15 and ticking here in period number 1. Jack State down a pair. And a foul away from the play on the Lions. Goes against number 3 for UNA, KJ Johnson. Looking back at the replay again, couldn't really see what KJ did. He was definitely jockeying for position down low. But with Jack State in the bonus, that's a costly foul as it gives Marcellus Brigham Jr. the chance to tie it at the free throw line. It's the first foul on Johnson, the 8th team foul. And the first one tonight for Marcellus is true. 1 point difference, 19-18. Marcellus Brigham Jr. getting another start tonight for Jack State. 18 career starts in his 3rd season as a Gamecock. And this free throw in and out. It's a 1 point lead for North Alabama, and they get the rebound. Went to Fulcher. Gamecocks pressing. They'll pass it back to him up the floor. Over to KJ Johnson. Lost the dribble, gets it back, and it's swatted out of there by Mayers. Gamecocks with it in transition. Reynolds down to the baseline to Clark. Back to Ivan. Driving against Johnson. Layup is true. Up and in off the left hand of Ivan Reynolds. Jack State retakes the lead 20 to 19. 95 seconds to play here in the first half. Jack State up 1 and out of bounds off the leg of the Gamecocks. Number 5, Ivan Reynolds, who just made that shot on the other end. North Alabama trying to fit one into KJ Johnson on the right wing, but instead made contact with Reynolds. Caught straight away by Jakari Lane. Goes back to the right, passes down low, tipped and stolen. Nicholson got a hand on it. Reynolds comes away with it. Clark sets up shop on the right wing, gets a screen, goes back to the left. Inside to Nicholson, letting the 6'10" man work, and he lost the ball. Stripped out of there by Forrest. Minute to play, and they throw it way out of bounds. Definitely an errant pass, not what they were looking for. And Owen Nelson, the former Wyoming Cowboy, 6'11", the tallest player on either team. Senior from Dublin, Ireland. Comes in for North Alabama. And time called while the Lions tie their shoe. I think Kiki Tandy will come back in for Jack State. He'll replace Travis Roberts. Jack State's made 5 of their last 7 shots. Looking to keep that hot streak up offensively here. Clark to Tandy straight away. Kiki with a screen from Nicholson. Tries a floater, it's short. It wound up being a pass to Nicholson, but he misses the layup. Tipped out of there, caught by the Lions at half court. It's KJ Johnson. They're going to be patient here. 16-second difference between the shot and game clocks. Almost threw it away again, and KJ Johnson is fouled as he got it back. Push from Ivan Reynolds will be team foul number 7, I believe. Or will it stay 6? It will be 6 instead. Apologies there. So still one more, or rather that was the last one to give for Jack State. One more until free throws. Almost a backcourt violation on the inbounds pass. Fulcher gets it back. Fulcher drives inside, throws it away. KJ Johnson on the wing. Stops in the lane, going around Nicholson. Almost made the layup as he fell to the floor. And now a scuffle at the end of that play. They're having to hold Owen Nelson back. He's getting a talking to from the official. 25.3 seconds left. Just warnings. I don't think there were any fouls. That foul that was issued, though, on the play was against Mason Nicholson. And now we will see some free throws for North Alabama's KJ Johnson. They showed the replay there. Both teams always got to watch out, especially in these in-state matchups, rivalry games like these between Jack State and North Alabama. It gets chippy late in the first half. You have a play that could have went either way. Guys falling to the floor. They separate it quickly. As KJ Johnson will head to the free throw line. It's 20-19 Jacksonville State at the moment. 25.3 seconds to go. 10 fouls on UNA, 17 fouls on Jack State, as the first of 2 is missed by Johnson. He'll try to tie it here. Hits the second one, and we're tied at 20. First points in 2.5 minutes for North Al. Quincy Clark brings it up with the shot clock off. Stops at the UNA logo. Hangs on to it in the corner of the floor. 13 to go. And he'll start the play right now. 8 on the clock. Screen from Nicholson. Clark to the right wing. Takes it inside, layup blocked. Put back is good. Mason Nicholson, right place, right time. He beats the buzzer and takes us to halftime with a Jack State advantage. Gamecocks up 22-20, a late putback by Mason Nicholson. And the Gamecocks up a pair at the break, 22-20. Entertaining first half. especially if you like defense. But we're going to do this. We're going to take a timeout, and we'll come back in just a moment with some halftime stats and analysis. Your score at the break, Jacksonville State 22, North Alabama 20. It's halftime here in Florence. Jacksonville State with a slim lead over North Alabama, 22-20. If you're just joining us, defenses have stood tall, as you might expect as you look at this score at the break. Jacksonville State able to get just enough production down the stretch of that first half, and a buzzer-beating layup, or a putback that is, from Mason Nicholson to take this lead at the break. Looking at scoring in the first half, the leading scorer for Jacksonville State with just 6 points, as Mason Nicholson took that title with that layup right before the end of the first half. 4 points in the first half for Travis Roberts. 3 from Juwan Purdue. He had an and one. 2 points from Matt Mayers, 2 points from Kiki Tandy, 2 from Quincy Clark, 2 from Ivan Reynolds, and a made free throw in the first half from Marcellus Brigham. No points for Caleb Johnson, Andres Burney, or Alex Odom, although we did see them in the first half get some playing time. 4 rebounds in the first 20 minutes from Juwan Purdue. Ditto for Marcellus Brigham. 3 rebounds each for Mayers and Burney in the first half as well. Assists, 2 for Kiki Tandy, 1 from Reynolds, 1 for Mayers, and 1 for Clark. And then 3 steals for Jack State as well. 1 by Roberts, 1 steal for Ivan Reynolds, and 1 steal for Marcellus Brigham Jr. A couple of solo blocks in the first half for the Gamecocks also. 1 by Nicholson and 1 by Quincy Clark, or rather by Matt Mayers. Gamecocks shot 9 of 29 in the first half, 31% from the field and 4 of 6 from the line. Did not make a three-pointer in the first half, and neither did North Alabama, the two teams combining to go 0 for 11 from beyond the arc in the first 20 minutes. North Alabama shot 32% in the first half, or 8 of 25 from the field. They were also 4 of 6 from the free throw line in the first 20 minutes. Leading scorer for UNA and in the game is KJ Johnson. He's got 7 points in the first half, added 1 rebound as well in that first period. 5 points from Damian Forrest. He's got 3 rebounds and an assist, 2 steals as well to go along with that. 2 points in the first half for Owen Nelson, 2 points from Jakari Lane, 1 rebound for Lane. 3 turnovers, however, for him, and then 2 points for Josiah Fulcher in the opening 20 minutes. Rebounds leader for UNA with 3 is Josiah Fulcher, also 3 by Forrest. A couple of rebounds each for Tim Smith Jr., Will Susi, Marco Foster, and Owen Nelson. Nobody with more than 1 assist, and the only player with more than 1 steal is Damian Forrest, as he's got 2 so far in this game. The difference right now is points off turnovers for Jacksonville State. They have turned it over more times than UNA. 12 times they've turned it over versus 10 by UNA. But North Alabama has not been able to generate that into points, or turn that into points, I should say. No points in the first half off turnovers for the Lions. 6 for Jacksonville State in the first half. Both sides with 16 points in the paint. Gamecocks with 4 second chance points, including the shot. They gave them the lead at the break. The putback by Mason Nicholson right before the expiration of the clock in the first half. 6 points for either side off fast breaks, and then the Gamecocks with twice as many bench points, 12 for Jack State and 6 by UNA. Jack State up a pair here at the break. Before we break away, a look at the other games going on in Conference USA play today. Mentioned earlier that Middle Tennessee rolled to a big win over Milligan, 88-62 at home. 2 games going on right now. Western Kentucky up by 21 on Kentucky State, and they're finally starting to pull away with about 8 minutes to go in that matchup. Kentucky State has hung with them as best they could. It was a 14-point game at halftime, but was very close throughout much of the first half. And then in the Cancun Challenge, I believe is what they're calling it, New Mexico State trailing Northern Colorado 28-21. That game is being played in Las Cruces at the Pan American Center, but they'll have 2 more matchups, I believe, next week. I don't think it's this weekend. It'll be 2 matchups south of the border, will the Aggies in that Cancun Classic. We're going to step aside here on the Gamecock Sports Network. About 2.5 minutes until we start the second half. We'll see you then. At the break, it's 22-20. Gamecocks on top in Florence. Back with you in Florence, Alabama. About set to begin the second half of play. Jack State leading North Alabama 22-20. Fewest points in the first half for Jacksonville State since February 2022 against Stetson. On the road in DeLand, had just 16 points in the first half then. That was 45 games ago. We'll see if the offense can get more in rhythm as we start the second period. North Alabama basketball. Jakari Lane gets it, drives down low to the baseline, kicks it opposite corner. A three is up, and it is in by Tim Smith Jr. First points of the day for Tim Smith Jr. And just like that, North Alabama's on top, 23-22. Gamecocks get it. Out of that made three. Mayers goes down low to Juwan Purdue. Now to the right side, Quincy Clark. Clark in the lane, stops, passes off to the wing. This is Marcellus Brigham, and he is fouled before he threw it out of bounds. They'll get a push on Tim Smith Jr. That's why we didn't see much of Smith in the first half. He ran into some foul trouble, couple of quick fouls, and now 40 seconds into the second period, he gets his third personal. Now he's skating on thin ice. The UNA coaching staff wanting to argue that call, now having to sit down as the officials glanced back in their direction. Clark gives in overhead to Purdue, to the right side of Kiki Tandy. Kiki hangs on to the dribble, pass down low, and it's out of bounds. Kiki gave to Mayers quickly, tried to go down low to Brigham, but in between his hands and out of bounds. Jacksonville State gives the ball back to UNA, another turnover by the red and white. That is turnover number 13 in this game. Jakari Lane gets a screen, goes to the left side. Tandy stays with him. Another corner three from Tim Smith, and he's fouled, putting up the shot. He'll have three from the charity stripe. A push on Marcellus Brigham Jr. That is the second team foul. Correction, first team foul on Jack State here in the second half. And it sends Tim Smith Jr. to the free throw line. Smith, one of the most consistent players this year for UNA, but he misses the first free throw. Smith, 6'7", out of Cleveland, Ohio, transfer from Walsh University. Made a three just a moment ago to give UNA the lead. He makes a second one to make it a two-point game, 24-22. That was his 1,000th career point in between his time at UNA and Walsh. Third free throw is no good. He's 1 for 3 on that trip, and it stays a 2-point difference. To the right wing, this is Quincy Clark. Outside to Juwan Purdue, a nice spin move, and the layup no good, but he's fouled. And Purdue hits the deck, gets up a little slow. He'll have a chance to tie the game at the line here. Another foul on Smith. That one a no-doubter foul as he tried to block the shot from behind. And Smith has to check out. We won't see him until very late in this game, one would imagine. Smith stopped by head coach Tony Pujol and getting the situation talked over as the first free throw is up and in from Juwan Purdue. 24-23 now. Jack State down a point. Coming in his place for UNA, number 2, Josiah Fulcher, the junior from Lima, Ohio. Juwan misses the second one, a bit short off the rim. Rebounded by the Lions. Gamecocks pressing as they try to bring it up the floor. KJ Johnson pressured at half court. He'll escape, give it up the floor. They've got numbers for just a moment. Fulcher over to Lane, layup good. Jakari Lane just impressively fast. Speeds past the Gamecocks down the center of the lane. Hits the layup to make it 26-23. Purdue gives on the left wing. Brigham a three for the tie, and it's off the rim. Gamecocks cannot buy a three in this game. They're 0 for 7 from beyond the arc. Lane's pass is kicked out of bounds by Jack State. Matt Myers got a piece of it. And Myers comes out. Mason Nicholson checks in. And a push on the inbounds against Jacksonville State. A quick second team foul here in the second half. UNA will throw it in again just to the left of their backboard. Overhead, caught by Damian Forrest at the three-point line. Handoff, now opposite side to Will Susi at the baseline. Susi jumps in the lane, spin around floater off the iron. Caught by Juwan Purdue. That foul, by the way, the third on Marcellus Brigham. Clark to Nicholson, back off to Quincy Clark on the right wing. Goes to the left side, a three from Purdue is good. And Juwan Purdue ties it up at 26 with 17 and a half to go. First made three of the day for Jack State, and now looking to play some defense. Damian Forrest in the paint, hook shot goes in. Able to get the extension, puts the shot over the arm of Mason Nicholson, and the lead back to the purple and whites of UNA. Kiki Tandy holding on to the ball. Going up against KJ Johnson, passes outside, and it's a moving screen on Kiki as he went to toss it. Already the third team foul against Jacksonville State, and we're not even 3 minutes into the second half. Tandy will take a seat. That is the first on him. Officially at the 17-minute mark. Standing at the right wings, Jakari Lane. Teammates moving around. Gives to KJ Johnson. Nice move with a dribble and a harsh foul as Mason Nicholson sent him to the floor. That was a definite foul.
Number 3, KJ Johnson to the line for the Lions.
Not many that you can argue that end up like that. Mason Nicholson was beat initially, came over and caught the entire arm of KJ Johnson, sent him spiraling to the floor. He's up and okay, and he's going to try to add to this 2-point lead for the Lions. 28-26, 16:47 to go. First one good, 29-26 for KJ Johnson, senior 6'3", 173, out of Tennessee. He's got both of them. 30-26, North Alabama. Jack State basketball. Clark down the right side. He'll spin, get a screen. Has it at the wing. Top of the key, gives it off to Ivan Reynolds, who's checked in. Left side, Caleb Johnson. Defender reaches in, over to Quincy Clark. 8 on the shot clock. Clark down low to the post. It's Mason Nicholson. Lost it initially, puts up a shot at the horn, and it's off the rim. Rebounded by Forrest of UNA. Over to Lane in transition, a three for Fulcher, and he's fouled. Quincy Clark knocks him over at the end of that three-pointer. And 3 free throws coming up again for North Alabama. Lions were not able to take advantage of it last time around, just going 1 for 3, but we'll see if they can have better luck with Josiah Fulcher at the free throw line. Fulcher, the transfer from Clarendon College. 1 season there, 2 seasons at Bowling Green. It's a MAC all-freshman team selection back in 2020-21. He makes the first one to make it a 5-point game. The second of 3 from Fulcher is good. And they're going to say that he just had 2 then, so never mind. It was a long 2 and not a 3. There was discussion, and now they're going to change it. There will be a 3rd free throw. And that's going to be the right call again. 32-26, 16:09 to go. Third one rims out. Rebounded by Jacksonville State. Alex Odom brings up past midcourt. Under 16 to play here in the second half. Odom gives in the corner, a 3 from Johnson off the rim, rebounded by Nicholson, and a foul on the floor.
Foul call number 3 for the Lions, KJ Johnson.
Jefferson called for a foul, and that'll take us to the media timeout at the under 16 mark. 15:50 to go. Jack State trailing 32-26. We're back with you here on the Gamecock Sports Network. Jacksonville State trailing North Alabama 32-26. 15 minutes, 50 seconds remaining here in Florence. Non-conference game for Jack State, coming in 1-2 on the year. North Alabama 2-1 after their loss at Mississippi State last time out. Both these Yellowhammer State teams coming off Power 5 losses. And a turnover off the inbounds pass. Nobody got open. And Alex Odom tossed it in just a bit too late. Nobody coming open that time, and another turnover by the red and white. Back to North Alabama, looking for their second D1 win of the year after they beat Alabama A&M. Will Susie goes in the lane to Damian Forrest, working against Mason Nicholson. Shot was missed, rebounded by Mason. He'll give it over to Juwan Purdue, now to Alex Odom, who's running point. Gamecocks trying to find a crease. Give it to Reynolds, down low, tried to go for Purdue, and he lost the dribble, intercepted. Get it to the freshman Cannon Jefferson, does UNA. Left side to Susie, good pass downstairs, and Forrest took a step too many. First pass was great, then they gave it back off to Damian Forrest, who took that extra step, and a travel gives it back to Jacksonville State. 15-12 to go, and Owen Nelson comes in for the Lions. Nelson has not played a ton so far in this game. That's not to say he's played poorly. He's done well when in there, but run into some foul trouble. And nearly a turnover on the inbounds pass. It will be. North Alabama had it for just a second. Travis Roberts ended up catching up to the ball, but stepped out of bounds just in front of the broadcast table. 15-10 to go, and Josiah Fulcher to throw it in for North Al. It's caught at midcourt by Jefferson. Odom on him, freshman on freshman. Susie over to Lane on the left wing. 15 minutes to go. Lane drives, passes back outside to an open Susie for three, and it's off the rim. They'll get the offensive board in the corner and then throw it the opposite way. Wide open opportunity and a slam. Jacksonville State able to end that scoreless drought. Big finish that time by number 5, Ivan Reynolds. 32-28. Lions back with the ball. Jefferson, the freshman from New Orleans, walking to the left side. Sidesteps the defender, wide open three, and he knocks it down. Alex Odom got taken out by a screen, and the defense didn't rotate around to help. 35-28, biggest lead so far for North Alabama. 14:05 to play. And a whistle away from the play. It's going to be a foul against the Lions, and that will go against Cannon Jefferson. Odom jogs off. Kiki Tandy comes in for Jacksonville State. Passer will be Ivan Reynolds. Reynolds, the junior from Pompano Beach, Florida. Set to throw it in, gives it in to Juwan Purdue. Over to Kiki Tandy on the right side. Reynolds has it, 15 on the shot clock. To Roberts, now to Kiki. Lost his step, tries a layup, it's off the rim. Tipped up and caught by the big 6'11" center, Owen Nelson for UNA. Certainly helps to box out when you got a built 6'11" center like him. They kick it in the corner. This is Susie, now on the right wing to Jefferson. Walking it around, barking out the offensive play. Gives to Susie. And a foul, an offensive foul on Jefferson, and he can't believe it. Coach Pujol can't believe it either. With 13:26 to go, it's back to Jack State. Still pleading his case. As Jacksonville State will give it in to Tandy. Kiki, the Xavier transfer, and then immediately an offensive foul on the Gamecocks. Travis Roberts issued with a foul. Gives and takes one side, right back to the other, and possession UNA with a 7-point lead. 13-16 to go here in the second half. 35-28 your score, and Marco Foster has it for North Al. Jefferson cuts to the left, gets a screen from Nelson. Back outside the lane, and it's stolen. Poked away by Reynolds. 2-on-1 over to Tandy. Kiki's layup's good. Beautiful play in transition off the turnover by Jacksonville State, and it's 35-30. Steal by Reynolds, score by Tandy. 5-point game again. Lane gets a screen, calls for it from Nelson. He'll go the left side. Lane misses that layup high off the glass. Offensive board for Marco Foster outside Jefferson, and this time the open three won't go. Almost a steal, and it will go out of bounds off of Jacksonville State. No, they say off UNA. Certainly looked as if Jack State last touched it, but it will be Gamecock basketball. Tried to throw it down the floor on the far sideline. Cannon Jefferson got a piece of it. Coming back to the ball, I think it was Caleb Johnson. Looked like he had tipped it out. Nevertheless, the Gamecocks will have it. Damian Forrest enters again for North Alabama. Quincy Clark receives the inbounds pass. Jefferson guarding it. Getting close to the 12-minute mark here. Clark goes to the right side, step back jumper, and he airmails it out of bounds. 12 minutes, 11 seconds to go in the second half. 35-30, Jack State trails. North Al gives it in to Jefferson. He'll walk it up with Clark shading him man-to-man defense here. Jefferson to the left side. Now paired up with Johnson. Pass it out to KJ Johnson. And a foul away from the play on Jacksonville State. Goes on number 23, Andres Burney. That foul with 11:55 to go takes us to the under 12 media timeout. 35-30, Jack State trailing, and UNA in the bonus. We'll see what happens when we come back from this media timeout. Stay with us on the Gamecock Sports Network. Jack State being outscored 15-8 so far here in the second half. 11 minutes and 55 seconds remaining. The Gamecocks trying to find something that works offensively. They trail at 35-30. Free throws out of the timeout coming up for Damian Forrest, who was fouled by Andres Burney. First one of the 1-and-1 is up and good. It was the 7th team foul on Jack State, so UNA is in the bonus for the final 11:55. Just 5 team fouls on the Lions. And he hits both of them. It's back to a 7-point lead. Tied for the largest lead of the night for UNA. Lions pressing, not trying to take their foot off the pedal whatsoever. Quincy Clark breaks the timeline. Goes to the right side to Marcellus Brigham Jr. Bounces one to Burney. Posting up against Smith. His layup is good. Count the basket and a foul. Chance for a 3-point play, and they might have got Smith again. Instead, it's on number 33, Foster, or number 22, excuse me, Marco Foster, so that'll be his first. Smith with those 4 fouls out there right now for the Lions, as the and one is going to rim out from Burney. 5-point difference, 37-32. Jacksonville State now 5 of 9 from the free throw line. They get it up the floor to Marco Foster, driving against Burney. He's double teamed. Passes outside to Forrest. 11:19 to go. Forrest down low, and he's fouled, putting up a layup. A lot of contact. It has been a battle down low. This Gamecock defense not making anything easy for the Lions. You can tell they've come with a greater attack as a team since being dominated by the big for Utah Tech. It's been a different story tonight. They put some pressure on these bigs, but Forrest has earned his points, and he's got 10 now with the first free throw up and in. Most on the team ahead of KJ Johnson, who's right behind him now with 9. 6-point lead, and he extends it back to 7, 39-32. Clark passes into Reynolds. Fakes the pass up the floor, now to Quincy Clark. Passes half court. Cannon Jefferson on him. Freshman has played well, especially on defense tonight. Right side, a pass to Jawan Purdue. Goes down low to Burney. Burney in the paint, working to the right side. Hook shot is good, and he's fouled. They'll count the basket. Hit him on the leg that time. That foul on Damian Forrest, his second. Now Jacksonville State in the bonus, with that being the 7th team foul on UNA. 10 minutes and 55 seconds to go. Free throw from Andres Burney. Off to the right. 39-34, Lions got it. Cannon Jefferson, he'll break the press. Now he's double teamed. Went to call timeout, and now it's a jump ball as he was ripped out of bounds. Jacksonville State basketball. 39-34. Jawan Purdue tied up, got the hands on the ball that time. Jacksonville State gets it as a result. Jakari Lee back in for the Lions as Jefferson walks off a little upset after no foul was called. Kiki Tandy's got it past the UNA logo. Lane on him. Fakes a drive, goes to the opposite hand. Spins away from Lane, got some separation. Tried to pass it away in the corner, had a man open, but knocked out of bounds by UNA. 10:25 to play. Jacksonville State down 5. Kiki Tandy catches an overhead pass. Caught it over the shoulder, working against Forrest. Gives him the corner to Reynolds. Now over to Kiki, a 3, yes! Kiki Tandy makes it a 2-point game with a tray. It's 39-37. Just enough separation for that UNA defense. Kiki Tandy off the pass back, a 3, the second made tonight for Jacksonville State. And on the other end, a turnover. A pass goes out of bounds from the Lions. Jacksonville State has it halfway through this second period. Chance to tie it up or take the lead with a bucket if you're Jacksonville State here. Johnson jogs off, so does Foster for UNA. They bring back in Susie and Fulcher. Goes into Kiki Tandy. Kiki walks it up. 9:50 and ticking. Fresh off a made three. Can Kiki get another one? Fakes the three. He'll pass it left side. Ivan Reynolds driving down. And he is fouled. Runs into the official at the end of the play. And that foul on number 0, Will Susie. First foul on Susie and a 1-and-1 upcoming for Jacksonville State. Chance to tie it here for Ivan Reynolds. Reynolds with 4 points in this game. His first trip to the line. Jack State as a team is 5 of 10 at the charity stripe versus 72% tonight for North Al. That one is off to the right. Another miss at the line by Jack State. North Alabama breaks that full court press. They give it off Jakari Lane, and his layup squeezes in there. Around like 3 Gamecocks, able to put it up and in. 41-37. Jakari Lane now up to 6 points on the night. 9:18 to go here in the second. Tandy, left side of Reynolds, driving the baseline, and he's fouled. Now Ivan Reynolds will head back to the charity stripe very quickly, and that is team foul number 9 on North Alabama. Gamecocks have struggled at the line in this game. That's not something you can have happen if you want to come back. Down just 4 points. Your offense has struggled. Need to get these free ones. First of 2 is good. 41-38, so it's a 1-possession game as Mason Nicholson walks back out there, replacing Andres Burney. The second from Ivan is good. 2 for 2 that time around. It's 41-39. North Alabama, high pass to the left side. Up to Tim Smith Jr., who has it at the wing. Back to Fulcher, now to Lane. He'll hang on to it with 15 on the shot clock. Jakari Lane to the free throw line, outside to Susie, and an offensive obstruction. He stepped out of bounds. 8:52 to play. Getting close to that under 8 timeout. Jacksonville State will throw it in just in front of the North Alabama bench and student section. Goes into Kiki Tandy, hands off to the point guard Quincy Clark. Quincy darts to the right side, goes back to the left, gives to Kiki. Tandy beat his man badly, the layup is good. And we are tied again, 41 all. Jack State comes back from a 7-point deficit to tie it at 41, and a turnover. Breaking away is Juwan Purdue. It's a 2-on-2. Lobs it to Mason Nicholson, and the layup is good. Jack State takes the lead back 43-41. And they've made their last 5 shots out of nowhere, heating up. It's a 6-0 run for the Gamecocks. 8:05 to play. Lane gets around a screen to the left side. Pass is tipped, another steal. Down the floor, he lobs it for Quincy Clark, and he can't save it from going out of bounds. Turnover takes us to the under 8 media timeout. Jack State comes back, a 6-0 run in the last minute, and they lead it with 7:55 to go, 43-41. Points from turnovers has been the big key for Jacksonville State in this game. 15 points off turnovers and 3 turnovers by the Lions over the last minute and a half, resulting in a 6-0 run by Jack State. They've made their last 5 field goals, and they now lead North Alabama 43-41 with 7:55 to go. Gamecocks also shooting the ball well here in the second half. 61.5% from the field and a couple of made threes after going 0 for 6 stone cold in that first half. Finally starting to heat up a bit here in the latter half of this game. After that turnover, North Alabama will have it. They've got just 3 points off turnovers tonight. Marco Foster has it on the near side corner. Gives to the baseline. Fulcher over to Forrest, and it's punched away. A block that time by Jawan Purdue. Rebounded by the Gamecocks. Kiki Tandy takes it all the way to the hole. Layup falls off the rim. Yanked down by Damian Forrest with 7.5 to go. Lane, left side of Tim Smith Jr. He's had a couple of big shots. Down to Forrest, Nicholson on him. Spins away from Mason. Tries to pass away, gives it to Fulcher with 13 on the clock. Josiah Fulcher's blocked. Mason Nicholson swats it away, and he falls down to the floor, holding his right knee. And this is certainly not what you want to see if you're Jacksonville State. Your big falling to the floor on a play like that, showing the replay in the arena. And just came down wrong on that leg. Trainer out there checking on him, so we are going to step aside momentarily as Mason Nicholson is being attended to on the floor at Flowers Hall. Jack State up by 2. Good news for Gamecock fans. Mason Nicholson making his way to the bench under his own power. It didn't look like a hyperextension or anything on the replay. He is walking gingerly. So, of course, we hope that he's going to be all right. Not sure if we'll see him the rest of this game, but he's being taken care of on the home sideline, and always good to see him making his way over there by himself without needing the help of teammates. 7:07 to go, Jack State basketball. After that rebound, they'll give it in to number 1, Quincy Clark. Looking to add to this 6-0 run. Quincy, past half court, goes to the right wing. Clark fakes a pass, steps inside the arc, now he'll drive, spins, bounces one for Burney. Burney, open lane, layup was good, but a foul. That's why the lane was so open. He knocked K.J. Johnson over. It's a charge. Was wondering what happened to Johnson that time. Burney lowered his shoulder into him, and that was an easy call as we look back at the replay. So it stays 43-41. And North Alabama with a chance to end their scoreless drought. They have not scored in the last nearly 3 minutes of this game. Playing to K.J. Johnson to break the press. Down to Tim Smith Jr., 3-on-2, and he passed it off a Gamecock's foot. Stays with the Lions. Jawan Purdue got a piece of it with his neon green sneakers. Left side, almost stolen. Quincy Clark right on Jakari Lane. I'm not sure how he kept it, and he buries the floater. That's a great play by Jakari Lane. Big shot around multiple defenders. It's 43-43. Clark on the right wing. Gives down low now to the opposite side. Jawan Purdue drives baseline. Reverse layup goes. Sent to the deck. No foul called, but the points anyway. 45-43. Jawan Purdue, a nice finish on that play. He's got 9 points. And a definite foul on Jawan as he tried to knock away a pass from Josiah Fulcher.
Foul call number 2 for the Gamecocks, Purdue.
Purdue trying to argue that he got all ball, which wasn't wrong, but the problem was that he went flying into the defender and knocked him over, or to the offensive player, that is, and knocked him over. So 2 free throws coming up as North Alabama's in the double bonus. 10 team fouls on Jack State. And the first free throw is good. Make it 45-44. Fulcher off the bench. He's got 5 points in this game, 3 rebounds and 2 assists. And now stoppage of play. Timeout on the floor. 5:39 to go. We'll take it with them. 45-44, Jack State on top. Second free throw coming up for Josiah Fulcher as we come back from the media timeout. It was a coach called timeout, extended to a media timeout. 5:39 to go. The second free throw from Fulcher to tie this game is true. 45-45, 5:39 to play. The Gamecocks get the inbounds pass. Clark ahead to Reynolds, trying to get around this man press. Lane on top of Clark defensively. Passes to the left side of Purdue. Juwan has it ripped at. Gets around his man, layup good, and a foul. Layup not good, got it off, but fouled by Fulcher as he was falling to the floor now. A lot of contact on both sides there. Really could have been an offensive foul as well, but Juwan Purdue benefits from the call, and the Gamecocks will certainly take it as he'll head to the line with the 10th team foul. 2 free throws coming up, and too much on the first one. Second one from Purdue. Juwan, the senior from South Carolina, the 6'6" forward, makes it. And it's a 1-point Gamecock lead, 46-45. A bump at midcourt, and Jakari Lane will head to the free throw line. Foul on Kiki Tandy. For Kiki, that is foul number 2.
Number 5, Jakari Lane to the line for the Lions.
2 coming up for Lane, who's got 8 points. He's 2 for 2 at the line in this one. First one to tie it is up and in. Lane, the sophomore from Huntsville, trying to give North Alabama the lead back. They have not led since it was 41-39. And they do again here. That one rattles around, goes down. It's 47-46. Lions on top. Purdue flares it to Clark, up past half court. Quincy dribbling between his legs, going up against KJ Johnson. Gets a handoff on the pass to Purdue. Now to Tandy, left of the timeline. Top of the key, driving right side of the lane, no good, but a foul. And that'll send Jawan Purdue to the free throw line.
Number 5, Jakari Lane.
A push against Jakari Lane. His second personal.
Number 2, Jawan Purdue to the line for the Gamecocks.
First one from Purdue. Free throw up. We're tied again. 47 all. It's turned into a heavy free throw contest here in the second half. Purdue with 11 points now, 4 of 7 at the line. Make that 5 of 8. He hits the second one, and it's a 1-point Gamecock lead, 48-47. UNA basketball with Jakari Lane dribbling it up. Standing at the center of the floor. He'll get a screen from Susi, goes to the left side. Lane hangs on to it. Reynolds with him step for step, passes right side of KJ Johnson. Beat his defender, layup spins out, and a late foul call. Who will they get? I think they'll get Burney. Andres Burney, his 4th personal.
Number 3, KJ Johnson to the line.
And another trip to the line. First free throw from KJ Johnson, and he'll reach double digits. Now 4 of 5 at the line. He's got 10 points. 48-48 with 4:31 to play. He hits both of them. 49-48, and a sub coming in for Jack State. It's Marcellus Brigham. Comes in for Burney, who's getting into a bit of foul trouble with 4. Fans have stuck around for this big-time in-state showdown, and it's coming down to the wire. 49-48, Jack State trailing, and another foul against the Lion defense. Ivan Reynolds, I believe, is the one that was bumped into by Jakari Lane, and Lane gets his 3rd personal. So Reynolds back to the free throw line. He's 2 for 3 there. He's got 6 points in the game. Something to note, Marcellus Brigham has got 4 personal fouls as he checks back in with right around 4.5 to play. His first one's good to tie it from Reynolds. Ivan misses the second one, rebounded by North Alabama. Fulcher comes down with it. Over to Lane. Hand off to Susi, now to Johnson going left side. 4:11 to go. Lane outside to Will Susi. Johnson in the lane, jumper. Rattles around and goes in. North Alabama back up by 2, 51-49. Gamecocks trying for a response with under 4 to go. Down to Jawan Purdue at the baseline. Jawan outside, and a foul before he passed it away. That takes us to another free throw opportunity for Jacksonville State when we come back from this timeout. Final media timeout, 3:45 to go. Jack State trails 51-49. Stay with us here on the Gamecock Sports Network. Juwan Purdue a chance to tie us up at the free throw line. It's 51-49, North Alabama on top. First one is missed. Out of the back of the iron. Best the Gamecocks can hope for is a 1-point deficit, barring an offensive board here. And he does make it. It's 51-50. 3 minutes, 45 seconds remaining. Jacksonville State down a point here at North Alabama. Trying to avoid a 1-3 start to the 23-24 season. Lane's got it for the Lions. To Johnson, top of the key. Crosses over Marcellus Brigham. Puts up a prayer and he makes it. An answered prayer on that shot. Just throwing it up through contact and nailing it. 53-50. Clark's got it. Past the UNA logo. Gets a screen from Purdue. Quincy driving down low. Layup goes in. Hung in mid-air for forever. Lays it in with his right hand. 53-52. Under 3 to go. Lane hands it off to Susie. They lead by a point. Will Susie gives it off to Fulcher. And it's tipped. Race for the ball. North Alabama gets it back, but he stepped out of bounds. Ivan Reynolds was the one who jumped the pass. Lane ends up catching up to it, but steps out of bounds just in front of the JSU bench, and the Gamecocks will throw it in there. 2:46 to go, and Quincy Clark will be the passer. Quincy gave it in to Brigham, right back to Clark. He has it straight away to the right side, to the wing. Gives in the corner, a three from Tandy. Boom! Kiki Tandy with a tray to give Jack State a 2-point lead, 55-53. Then a steal on the other end for Jack State. 2-on-2, Quincy Clark will loop around as the defense covered it well. He'll let his teammates catch up. Big chance to make it a 2-possession lead here if you're Jack State. 15 on the shot clock. Clark to the right side, back to Tandy. Big made three, he's got 12 after that last one. Loops inside, a beautiful floater. And the Gamecocks lead by 4. Their largest lead of the game. 57-53, and timeout is taken by North Alabama. Minute 50 to go. Jack State with a big three from Kiki. A big floater from Kiki. 5 unanswered, all from number 24, and it's 57-53. We'll step aside momentarily. Be back in just a moment here on the Gamecock Sports Network. (57-53). Jacksonville State leads it. Minute and 50 seconds to go. Kiki Tandy with a three, hits a jumper just after a turnover a few seconds later. And the Gamecocks up by their biggest amount in this game, 4-point lead. Jakari Lane gets the inbounds pass, going left side. Lions definitely need a response ASAP. Tim Smith Jr. on the right side. Smith To the left side, a three from Johnson. In and out, he was fouled. Could have had a chance for a 4-point play.
Number 24.
That foul on Tandy. Third personal on Kiki. And 3 free throws coming up for KJ Johnson. Johnson with 15 points, most of anybody in this game. He is 5 of 6 at the line. Minute 35 to go, a chance to claw back in this game a bit. First one is good, 57-54. Will be a one-possession game after this, no matter what. The second from Johnson. The Lipscomb transfer makes it. Damian Forrest set to check in for UNA. He will replace Tim Smith Jr. It's 57-55. The third and final free throw from KJ Johnson. Hits all 3 of them.
Number 3, KJ Johnson.
57-56. 95 seconds to go. They're pressing on the inbound. Ivan Reynolds gives over to Quincy Clark, guarded tightly by Johnson. A bump at midcourt, nothing called. Goes to the left side. 20 on the shot clock. Quincy drives in, gets around the defender, has to pass it out to Tandy. A 3 from the wing. Oh, just short. Foul going for the rebound, and it's on Jack State. Juwan Purdue bumped into the back of KJ Johnson. And Johnson heads to the line with 1:17 left. A chance to give UNA the lead right back. A costly foul on Juwan Purdue. And he has his 4th. 4 for him, 4 for Brigham. First one to tie it from Johnson is true. And it's 57 all. Johnson hits 5 in a row. And UNA retakes the lead, 58-57. Big possession for the Gamecocks. Everybody in this stadium on their feet. Marcellus Brigham on the left wing. Right side to Purdue. Juwan gives to Quincy. Clark, layup, good. The center of the lane around 2 Lions, puts it up and in. 59-58 Gamecocks. KJ Johnson on the near side. He'll drive against Purdue, a bump, and it rolls off the rim, but he'll head to the line again. And Johnson a little slow getting up. That one hung up there forever. Almost a chance for a 3-point play. 5th foul for Juwan Purdue, and his night is done. 13 points, 7 rebounds, and an assist for the senior out of Sumter, South Carolina. Travis Roberts comes in his place. Lions 24 of 29 at the line in this game. KJ Johnson 10 of 11. 2 big free throws here. Opportunity to give them the lead again as the first one is missed. Off the rim, bounces off the backboard. No good. This one for the tie from KJ. It's good. A 17-second difference between the shot and game clocks, 47.9 and ticking. Tie ball game, 59 all. Quincy Clark passes half court. In no hurry here. Teammates switching around down low. Clark gets a screen from Roberts. Passes right side and it's out of bounds. Brigham wasn't ready for it. 0.2 between the shot and game clocks. 30.2 seconds left. UNA will throw it in. Jakari Lane gets it from Will Susi. Goes to half court, and time is taken by North Al. Oh my goodness. 26 seconds left. North Alabama will have a chance for a last second shot. We'll keep it here. My goodness. Gamecocks had a prime opportunity to take the lead on the next to last possession and threw it out of bounds. You've got to credit the play of KJ Johnson down the stretch here in the second half, clawing back for North Alabama almost single-handedly, making incredible layups, draining a ton of free throws. He's got a game-high 21 points. You got to think if North Alabama wins, he's going to be your player of the game. Kiki Tandy with big shots time and time again for Jack State. Can they get one defensive stop here and maybe have enough time in regulation for Kiki Tandy to throw up another prayer, see if it gets answered. 26 ticks of the clock to go. Every seat is empty, everyone on their feet here at Flowers Hall in Florence. Inbounds pass to KJ Johnson. They can pretty much drain the shot clock here and put up a last second opportunity. Johnson, shaded by Reynolds, 15 on the clock, and now timeout taken by UNA. I guess smoke them if you got them. No chance in holding on to it here. Didn't like the look, did Coach Pujol, and they will take a look at it here. 13.8 to go now, 14 on the shot clock. A 59-59 tie here in Northwest Alabama. Jacksonville State led by as many as 4 points in the second half. Early in the second half, UNA led by as many as 7. This has been a wild, wild game, but exactly what you expect when you hear Jack State and North Alabama. Five out there for Jacksonville State will be Clark, Johnson, Tandy, Roberts, not Johnson, Tandy, Brigham, and Reynolds. For UNA, it's Johnson, Fulcher, Susie, Smith, and Lane. 13.8 to go. Let's see how this one plays out. They give it in the corner to Johnson. Clark on him. Over to Lane on the right wing. 8 seconds to go. Back to Johnson, left wing. Drives inside, a layup at the horn is good. 1.7 to go. KJ Johnson drove into the heart of the Jacksonville State defense and makes a layup. It's 61-59. 1.7 seconds to go and timeout taken by JSU. 30-second timeout. Take another look at it. Gamecocks were expecting a three, drove around Clark. Defensive help was just a half second late getting there, and KJ Johnson gets it over the outstretched arm of Marcellus Brigham. This place erupted as the shot was made. Now your last second shot if you're Jack State. 1.7 to go, down by 2. Coach Harper with a short discussion, trying to see if maybe there was any more time that needs to be added. They look at the replay here. A wild Saturday night battle. And you've got to think this last second opportunity is going to go through number 24, Kiki Tandy. Tandy 6 of 14 from the field, 2 of 6 from beyond the arc. He's been the hot hand, especially in the second half. Jacksonville State will throw it in on the right side of the floor. Excuse me, they'll have to go a long way of the floor. Marcellus Brigham will toss it. Brigham launches it down the floor. It's off the hand of Reynolds, caught by Tandy in the corner. Can't get a shot off, and the game is over. North Alabama takes off in the late stages of this game, and they upset Jack State 61-59. Tough setback for Jack State as they fall to 1-3 on the season. North Alabama, a big win at home. They improved to 3-1. Gamecocks back at it just a few days from now. They'll play 4 days from now at Incarnate Word on November 22nd, making the trip out to San Antonio. A tough defeat if you're Jacksonville State. My goodness. Not much more you can say about this game. It was a crazy battle back and forth. The Gamecocks could not get it done at the horn. KJ Johnson's buzzer-beating layup, 1.7 to go, and they win 61-59. That one's going to sting a bit if you're a Gamecock. No other way to put it. That one's going to hurt. We'll look at final stats real quick. We'll see if we have a final word from head coach Ray Harper here in just a moment. But looking at final stats, we'll start with the Gamecocks. Leading scorer tonight was Kiki Tandy, 14 points, drained a pair of threes, added 3 rebounds and 2 assists in this game. 13 points as well from Jawan Purdue, 13 on 3 of 6 shooting. Purdue added 6 free throws in the contest and 7 rebounds. Jawan fouled out late in the second half. A couple of steals as well for Jawan tonight. 8 points for Mason Nicholson. Nicholson added 4 rebounds and 2 blocks. 7 points for Ivan Reynolds. Reynolds with 1 rebound, 3 assists, and a team best 3 steals tonight. 6 points for Quincy Clark. Point guard had 3 assists in the game. Turned it over 3 times. He had 1 steal in 29 minutes. 4 points for Travis Roberts. A made field goal, 2 made free throws, 1 rebound, 2 turnovers, 1 steal. 4 points for Andre Burney. Andre's with 3 rebounds, 1 turnover tonight. A made free throw from Marcellus Brigham. He had 4 rebounds as well and 1 steal. No points for Caleb Johnson. Johnson had a turnover tonight. 2 points for Matt Mayers. 3 rebounds, 2 turnovers, 1 assist, 1 block. No points tonight for Alex Odom in 5 minutes. He had an assist and a rebound. We're going to hold on here for just a moment on the Gamecock Sports Network. We'll step aside, see if we have a moment to speak with head coach Ray Harper. Your final score, 61-59. North Alabama wins it just before the horn in Florence. And we're back with you from CB&S Arena here in Florence, Alabama. Logan Maddox signing off on the Gamecocks Sports Network. Jacksonville State falls in a tough one here in Florence, 61-59. They are back at it next week. Some Thanksgiving action in the Lone Star State, taking on Incarnate Word in San Antonio on the 22nd. Mike Parrish, believe, will have the call for that one. But don't hold me to it. Make sure to visit jackstatesports.com to be sure on all that. Jacksonville State women's basketball back at it on Monday at home as they take on the Life University Running Eagles. Tip-off at 6:30 p.m. Central Time at Pete Matthews Coliseum Monday. For everybody with Jacksonville State Athletics and everybody with Jacksonville State men's basketball, Logan Maddox signing off. Your final score from Florence is North Alabama 61, Jack State 59. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great rest of your weekend.